Listen carefully. Chosen one. For this message finds you at the very edge of release. You've been wondering why the waiting felt so long, why every door you knocked on seemed sealed shut, and why prayers that once carried fire now echoed in silence. The Spirit of God says, the wait was never punishment, it was warfare. Heaven saw every unseen battle you fought when no one else understood your pain. The delay you called disappointment was in truth divine defense. The reason it took this long is because the enemy knew what would happen once you stepped into your appointed season. The resistance you faced wasn't ordinary, it was strategic. Hell was terrified of what you would become once the waiting ended. For too long you've mistaken the stillness for stagnation. But in that stillness, God was fortifying you. Every tear watered the soil of your promise. Every lonely night became a sacred classroom where faith was forged in fire. What looked like nothing was actually everything being prepared in silence. Hear this clearly, the warfare was proof of your worth. You were attacked not because you were weak, but because you carry something weighty, something heaven intends to reveal now. God declares that the season of hidden struggle has reached completion. The delay has served its purpose. The warfare has lost its authority. You will soon see why every battle had to happen. The very pain that tried to break you will become the testimony that crowns you. The Lord says, I have declared victory over what tried to bury you. Your name has been spoken in the courts of heaven. The decree has gone forth. What once opposed you will now be forced to witness your rise. The same silence that confused you will now echo with the sound of fulfillment. Chosen one. You didn't wait in vain, you warred in faith, and because you refused to give up, God now declares the battle is over. The victory is yours. You felt the pressure because heaven was making an announcement in the Spirit long before it ever reached the earth. Every delay was God holding back the curtain, waiting until the exact divine second when your unveiling would align with His perfect will. There were things that had to mature around you before the promise could safely rest upon you. God says, I was not late. I was strategic. The same hand that closed the door before you was the one that kept danger from entering behind you. What you called waiting was the mercy of divine timing. What you thought was silence was heaven's way of saying, not yet, because when it happens, it must not fail. There is a rhythm to God's movement. He never rushes, but He never hesitates. The same voice that spoke the stars into order was orchestrating your steps in quiet detail. You were never forgotten. You were being positioned. Like Joseph in the prison, like David in the wilderness, like Esther in the hidden chambers of preparation. Your obscurity was divine protection. When you cried out, Lord, why not now? Heaven answered, because I'm not raising you for survival. I'm raising you for victory. There is a weight to your assignment that demanded endurance. If God had opened the door too soon, you would have entered as a survivor instead of a victor. But He needed you to walk in not as the wounded, but as the warrior refined. And now the Father declares, the waiting season has accomplished its purpose. The warfare around your promise has weakened, not because the enemy surrendered willingly, but because the decree from heaven overruled every opposition. The word spoken over your life was never canceled, only concealed until now. There's a shift happening, even as these words reach your ears. The same Spirit that hovered over the waters in Genesis is now hovering over your circumstances, ready to bring form to what looked formless and light to what felt void. This next move will not come from human strength or connection. It will be the unmistakable hand of God. He has written your name into the timeline of His intention, and nothing, no delay, no distraction, no demonic resistance can erase what He has sealed. So take a deep breath. The stillness is lifting. The divine momentum you once felt fading is about to surge again. Heaven has risen from its seat concerning your case, and the verdict is this: victory has been declared. Something is breaking open in the unseen. You can feel it. The atmosphere around you has been shifting quietly, like the moments before dawn when the light begins to test the horizon. The long silence that surrounded your prayers was not absence. It was incubation. God has been forming something behind the veil, and now that veil is beginning to tremble. This is the unveiling of what you've been waiting for. The warfare you endured was not random. It was the enemy's desperate attempt to delay what heaven had already approved. But God says enough. The decree has been sealed. The time appointed has arrived. In the spirit, I see the image of a battle-worn soldier, standing at the edge of a field, armor scarred, sword heavy, yet eyes burning with unyielding light. That soldier is you. The war may have left its marks, but those marks are the proof of your endurance. You didn't retreat when fear whispered. You didn't fold when fatigue pressed in. Every moment you stayed faithful under pressure became a line in heaven's testimony about you. The Lord says, "You have been tested for truth, and the truth has stood firm." The season of proving is giving way to the season of revealing. What was hidden in you, the strength, the wisdom, the anointing, will no longer remain unseen. The same environment that once resisted you will soon recognize you. God is about to turn what tried to bury you into the very platform that announces your breakthrough. The very pit that was dug for your downfall will become the place where His glory is displayed. Like Joseph rising from the dungeon to the palace, you are about to witness a reversal so swift it will silence every doubter. But this is not just personal vindication. This is divine fulfillment. Heaven is making a statement through your story, that faith under fire still wins, that patience under pressure still prevails, that obedience in obscurity still leads to elevation. The prophecy being unveiled over you is not a small victory, it's a shift in authority. You have been given dominion over the very areas where you once felt defeated. The enemy that stood at your gates will soon flee at your footsteps. God is not just restoring what was lost, He's reassigning power. Pay attention, new doors are not opening by coincidence. Unexpected favors, sudden clarity, divine alignments. These are not random blessings. They are confirmations of the decree already spoken. You will find yourself standing in moments that feel almost familiar, as if you've seen them in dreams or whispers long ago. That's because you did. God planted glimpses of this day in your spirit during the waiting. Now those glimpses are coming to life. The waiting that felt endless has matured into revelation. The silence that felt heavy has become the womb of destiny. You are stepping into what heaven calls the fullness of time. And when this unveiling begins, it will not be gradual. It will unfold suddenly like a curtain torn open by divine hands. The people who once overlooked you will witness what they cannot deny, that the hand of God was on you all along. The Lord declares, "The warfare that surrounded your waiting is finished. I have spoken victory into your atmosphere. The opposition has lost its claim. Stand ready, for manifestation is here. What you are about to walk into will make sense of everything that came before. Every loss, every tear, every closed door will now reveal its meaning. It was all leading here. The unveiling has begun, and nothing can conceal it again. Everything God allows carries purpose, even what feels like pause. Waiting to the natural mind looks like delay. But to heaven, waiting is a weapon. It is the field where strength is forged, perception is sharpened, and faith learns how to stand without sight. When God calls you to wait, He is not withholding, He is building. The unseen realm often shifts long before the visible world catches up. So while you thought nothing was happening, angels were moving, alignments were forming, and your spirit was being trained for stewardship. You were not merely waiting for something, you were wading into something. The wait was warfare because the enemy understood that time was your training ground. If he could make you impatient, he could make you unprepared. Every temptation to quit, every whisper that said, "It will never happen," was not just discouragement. It was a strategic strike against your endurance. Hell fears the believer who learns to wait well, because patience mixed with faith produces unstoppable authority. Waiting purifies motives. It burns away the need to prove, the craving for approval, the rush to control. In the quiet tension of unfulfilled promises, your heart is sifted until only surrender remains. That surrender is not weakness. It is the highest form of warfare. It says, "I trust God enough to stand still while He fights for me." You see, in Scripture, waiting and warfare often travel together. David was anointed king, yet waited years to sit on the throne. Joseph dreamed of leadership, but endured betrayal and imprisonment before elevation. Esther was hidden in preparation long before her moment of influence arrived. Their waiting was not wasted. It was weaponized. It shaped character sturdy enough to carry destiny. In your life, the same pattern has been unfolding. Each disappointment was not destruction, it was discipline. Each unanswered prayer trained your ears to discern God's whisper over your own desires. Each season of stillness stripped away the illusion that progress only happens when you can measure it. The truth is, spiritual progress is measured by trust, not by speed. When God said, "Be still and know that I am God," He was teaching the language of spiritual confidence. Stillness is not inactivity, it's agreement. It's the soul saying, "He is God, and that is enough." That posture breaks demonic cycles because darkness feeds on anxiety and fear. Every time you chose peace over panic, heaven recorded victory. The depth of this prophecy is this: your waiting season was not just about receiving what you asked for. It was about becoming who you were meant to be. You were transformed from seeker to steward, from survivor to soldier. The delay refined your discernment so that when God opens the next door, you will know which rooms to walk past and which ones to enter. Even the silence had meaning. When heaven seemed quiet, it was testing your spiritual memory. Could you still trust the last word spoken when no new word came? Faith matures when it stops, depending on updates. True faith rests in what God already said. Understand this: mystery time is never wasted in the hands of God. What looks like slow movement on earth is often rapid multiplication in the spirit. Seeds grow underground before they ever pierce the soil. Roots deepen in darkness before fruit appears in light. The same process has been at work in you, and now that unseen labor has produced unseen authority. You have become the kind of vessel heaven can trust with victory. Because you have learned to wait without wavering, you will now move without resistance. So do not despise the process that formed you. The patience that once felt like pain will soon feel like power. Every moment you spent hidden was God engraving your name on a purpose too precious to rush. This is the deeper truth of the prophecy. The wait was warfare, but it was also worship. You fought not with weapons of the flesh, but with the endurance of faith. You proved that believing is stronger than seeing, and trusting is louder than fear. Now, the lesson is complete. What was internal will become external. The peace that guarded you will become the power that guides you. The same stillness that sustained you will soon speak through you. God has turned your waiting into a testimony that shouts, "He is faithful in every season." When heaven moves, the earth responds. Every spiritual decree eventually leaves a physical trace. You may not hear a trumpet or see fire fall from the sky, but signs always accompany a divine shift. God is faithful to confirm what He has spoken. You will begin to notice the first sign in your spirit before it ever shows up in your surroundings. There will be an unexplainable peace, not the quiet that follows exhaustion, but the peace that comes when warfare has truly ended. It will settle over your heart like morning dew, steady and undeniable. The same situations that once triggered anxiety will no longer shake you. That's not indifference, it's deliverance. Heaven is saying, the battle is already won. The second sign will be clarity. After seasons of fog and confusion, your thoughts will begin to align again. The noise that clouded your decisions will lift and direction will return. Ideas that once felt tangled will suddenly come together. Don't rush this. Let the clarity unfold naturally. When divine order replaces chaos, it's proof that God's hand has reestablished authority over your path. The third sign will be unexpected favor. Doors that were previously locked will begin to open with little effort. People who overlooked you will start to remember your name. Opportunities that seemed out of reach will come looking for you. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. When victory is declared in heaven, favor starts to rearrange itself on earth. The fourth sign will be divine encounters, moments that feel too precise to be random. You will overhear conversations that echo what God told you in private. You will meet people who carry answers to prayers you never voiced aloud. These alignments are not mere encouragements. They are signals that your steps are being divinely ordered. The fifth sign will be restoration of strength. Weariness will break without explanation. The heaviness that lingered over you for months will suddenly lift. You will wake up one morning with renewed energy and wonder where it came from. That is the breath of God returning to your purpose. And finally, there will be confirmation through peace in your relationships. The tension, the misunderstandings, the distance that once seemed unresolvable will begin to ease. You may not fix every situation, but reconciliation will start within you. When the war in your spirit ends, peace begins to overflow to those around you. Each of these signs may arrive subtly, almost quietly, but pay attention. They are heaven's handwriting spelling out, I have completed what I began in you. Do not look for fireworks. Look for alignment. Do not wait for applause. Listen for assurance. When these confirmations appear, you will know deep within the waiting season has closed and victory has stepped forward to greet you. Victory does not always arrive without resistance. Sometimes just as the dawn breaks, the clouds gather again, not to steal your light, but to test whether you will keep it burning. Every new season carries new weight, and the enemy often tries one last time to shake your confidence before you walk fully in your calling. Do not be surprised if after peace comes a subtle pressure. It will not feel like the storms you've faced before. It will be quieter, disguised as distraction, discouragement, or doubt. The warfare that once shouted may now whisper. The goal is the same, to make you question what God has already confirmed. These are the hidden challenges of victory. You will find them not on battlefields, but in the corridors of daily life. Small choices, fleeting thoughts, familiar fears that try to reattach themselves. The test now is not endurance under pressure, but stewardship under blessing. Can you protect what heaven has placed in your hands? The first challenge will be spiritual fatigue. After long warfare, it's tempting to relax too far to let your guard down and drift into complacency. But remember, rest is holy, not careless. True rest restores, passivity drains. Guard your time in prayer and in the Word, even when everything feels peaceful. That discipline will preserve the victory you've received. The second challenge will be old cycles trying to reappear. They will not come to dominate, but to check whether your deliverance is genuine. You may find yourself near familiar environments or people who once pulled you backward. The key is not fear. It's discernment. You've changed. The places that once trapped you no longer fit you. Recognize it thank God for the lesson, and walk forward. The third challenge will be the weight of responsibility. With breakthrough comes visibility, and with visibility comes pressure. Some will celebrate you, others will question you. Stay humble. Let praise pass through you, not into you. Remember, the same God who lifted you can sustain you. The fourth challenge will be learning to live in peace. For so long, your spirit was trained for battle. Now, it must learn stillness. Don't mistake peace for emptiness. Don't search for chaos just because calm feels unfamiliar. The absence of struggle is not boredom, it's blessing. Finally, there is the challenge of trust. Even after victory, you will face moments that stretch your faith again. But now, you will respond differently, from strength, not fear. The God who delivered you once will not abandon you now. So don't misread these post-war tremors. They are not signs of loss. They are signs of transition. The old you would have panicked, but the new you will perceive. These subtle tests are heaven's way of confirming that the transformation was real. Hold your peace. Guard your heart. Keep gratitude alive. The same endurance that carried you through waiting will carry you through winning. Victory is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of stewardship. Now that victory has been declared, heaven does not say rest and forget. Heaven says, rise and build. The battle was never only about survival, it was about preparation. You have crossed through fire not merely to say I made it, but to carry something greater into the world. There are divine instructions being released for those who have endured. Not every listener will hear them, but those who have walked through warfare will recognize the sound. Listen closely. Instruction 1: guard your atmosphere. You fought hard for your peace. Now protect it. Do not allow chaos to rent space in your spirit. Limit the noise. Be selective about what you consume, who you entertain, and where you invest your energy. You cannot host divine presence while entertaining constant distraction. God is saying, preserve the stillness I gave you. It is your sanctuary. Instruction 2. Speak what heaven says, not what fear suggests. Your words in this season carry unusual power. The same mouth that cried out in faith during waiting has been authorized to declare victory in manifestation. Speak with intention. When you speak, blessing doors respond. When you speak doubt, progress slows. Let your tongue agree with heaven. Say, it is finished. Say, it is mine. Say, he is faithful. Instruction 3. Move with purpose, not haste. Momentum is not the same as hurry. You are being called to act, but not to scramble. There will be multiple opportunities, and not all of them will be divine. Pray before you step. God's timing now depends on your discernment. If you walk ahead of his instruction, you may find yourself in places he never sent you. Move by peace, not pressure. Instruction 4. Return honor to the altar. In the waiting season, you learned dependence. Now in victory, God calls you to remembrance. Don't forget the prayers that sustained you or the mercy that held you. Return with gratitude through prayer, through generosity, through obedience. Whatever you sow in thanksgiving becomes protection for your next assignment. Instruction 5. Cover your promise in humility. Elevation attracts attention, but humility attracts preservation. God resists the proud, but guards the humble. Stay teachable. Keep serving even while you shine. Do not confuse visibility with arrival. This is only the beginning. The moment pride whispers, you did this, silence it, with God did this. Instruction 6. Strengthen your community. The same hands that lifted you can now lift others. You did not fight all that warfare just to sit in solitude. There are people waiting for the wisdom your battle produced. Mentor, encourage, intercede. Heaven measures greatness not by position, but by who you help rise. Instruction 7. Keep your eyes on the eternal. Every earthly success is temporary if it doesn't glorify God. Remember, this victory is not just about comfort. It's about kingdom advancement. Use what you've gained to spread light, to heal, to restore. Your story is now a testimony that breaks chains in others. And finally, Instruction 8, stay aligned with divine rhythm. God's moves follow patterns, silence shaping, sending shining. You've been through the first 3. Now comes the shining. But even in light, stay synchronized with the Spirit. Don't let applause become your compass. Let peace lead. Let conviction anchor you. Let obedience define you. These instructions are not burdens. They are blessings disguised as boundaries. They keep you from falling where others stumble after success. Remember, the same obedience that brought you out will keep you in. If you obey these words, your next season will not just be victory, it will be dominion. You will walk into rooms where your name carries divine weight, not because of fame, but because heaven trusts your stewardship. This is the word of the Lord. You have endured the waiting. You have won the warfare. Now walk in wisdom, for the victory must produce vision. The instructions are clear. The path is set. Step with confidence, not arrogance, for God Himself goes before you. Take comfort now, for the same God who led you through battle will guard you in peace. Victory does not mean vulnerability. It means divine covering. Heaven never releases without also surrounding. The moment God declares victory, He assigns angels to protect what victory births. There is a shield around you, invisible yet immovable. You may not always sense it, but every step you take is being monitored by mercy. When danger approaches, it will not find you by accident. It will find a wall of light standing in its way. You are surrounded not by circumstance, but by covenant. The Lord says, "Fear not what is forming, for it shall not prosper. I have placed my name upon you, and my name is your defense. Where before you walked uncertain, now you will walk secure. What once drained your energy will lose access to your peace. Every assignment sent to confuse or delay you will dissolve before it reaches your dwelling. Understand, this divine protection does not mean you will never face opposition again. It means opposition will never have permission to overthrow you. You may still hear noise, but it will not carry power. You may still feel pressure, but it will not penetrate your promise. Every arrow that flies will be intercepted by grace before it finds its mark. Even now, heaven reinforces your borders. The Spirit of God is establishing boundaries where there were breaches, restoring order, where chaos tried to creep in. Relationships that once drained you will quietly fall away. People who carry confusion will be distanced not by your rejection, but by divine separation. God is protecting your focus as much as your future. When you sleep, His presence watches. When you wake, His favor follows. When you walk, His Spirit goes ahead, clearing paths you cannot see. The protection of God is not just a shield, it is a strategy. He is positioning you where His peace can multiply, not be stolen. You are not walking alone into this next season. The same voice that whispered comfort in the darkness will speak direction in the light. Angels that once fought on your behalf in battle will now stand as guardians of your rest. So be still. You don't have to prove that you're safe. You already are. Let fear lose its language around you. Let worry find no welcome in your home. God has built a fortress around your obedience. This is your assurance the war is over, but heaven's watch continues. The one who delivered you will defend you. You will not return to the days of unrest. The peace you've been given is permanent because it's been signed in promise. No more trembling over what could go wrong. Lift your eyes to what has already gone right. The Lord your defender is not leaving. His presence is your perimeter, His glory is your guard. Look around you. The landscape of your life is shifting. The air feels lighter. The weight is lifting, and something in your spirit knows it finally happened. You may not even be able to explain it, but there is an undeniable sense that what you carried in faith has now crossed into fulfillment. You are not the same person who began this journey. The waiting changed you. The warfare matured you. The silence refined you. What was once fragile has become fortified. The timid voice that once asked, "When Lord," now declares, "Whenever you say Lord." That is transformation, when the question becomes surrender. The fulfillment you're walking into is not just about what you will receive. It's about who you have become in the process. God never delivers promises to unprepared hands. He forms the vessel before filling it. And you, beloved, have been formed. You have been stretched, softened, and strengthened for this moment. Now the things that used to shake you no longer hold power. Fear may still knock, but peace answers the door. Doubt may whisper, but faith now speaks louder. You have grown into spiritual authority that can no longer be taken. The transformation will show not just in your emotions, but in your atmosphere. People will sense something different when you enter the room. Conversations will shift. Opportunities will recognize you before you introduce yourself. The glow you carry is not from striving, it's from survival. You've walked through the valley and returned radiant. And what of the promises? They are unfolding exactly as He said they would. The provision you prayed for is being released. The purpose you feared was lost is being revived. Doors are opening that no human hand can shut. You will find yourself in divine appointments that feel almost scripted because they are. Heaven has written this moment into your story. You will look back on the tears you cried and realize they were not wasted. They were watering seeds that are now bearing fruit. Every lonely night became a root of resilience. Every disappointment became the soil for discernment. What once broke you now builds you. This is the hour of fulfillment, and it will not come quietly. Even those who doubted your journey will have to acknowledge the hand of God on your life. You will not need to explain yourself. The evidence will speak. The same mouths that questioned will now confess, "Surely the Lord has done this." And in that moment you will not gloat, you will worship. Gratitude will overflow where bitterness once tried to live. You will lift your hands, not in pride but in awe. Because deep down, you will know it was never me. It was always Him. Your fulfillment is not an ending, it is a continuation. It's the dawn after a long night, the harvest after faithful sowing, the song after silence. This transformation is heaven's testimony that obedience still leads to overflow. So walk into this season with quiet confidence. The version of you that waited has given birth to the version of you that reigns. You are not stepping into what you dreamed, you are stepping into what God destined. The prophecy has manifested. The process is complete. Lift your eyes, smile again, breathe again. You are living in the victory that heaven already saw long ago. Take this moment and breathe it in. You have walked through fire and found yourself still standing. You have endured the silence, survived the storms, and emerged not empty, but anointed. Heaven is not simply applauding you. Heaven is crowning you. This word was sent to remind you that what you faced was never wasted. The wait was warfare, but the war produced wisdom. The silence refined your strength. The pain birthed your power. Every part of your journey has been redeemed for glory. Now, as this message settles in your spirit, let these affirmations take root deep within you. Affirmation 1. I am covered, chosen, and called. My waiting was not delay, it was design. Affirmation 2. I walk in victory that heaven has already declared. What opposed me has lost its claim. Affirmation 3. I will not return to fear because peace is my new position. I rest in God's protection. Affirmation 4, I am stepping into fulfillment with humility, faith, and fire. What God began, He will perfect. Let these words become your daily confession. Speak them until they shape your reality. Speak them until doubt no longer recognizes your voice. Speak them until peace feels permanent again. And now receive this blessing, not from a voice, but from the heart of the Father Himself. May the Lord who carried you through every hidden battle now crown you with public victory. May the same hand that closed doors for your protection now open them for your promotion. May your name be whispered in rooms where destiny is decided. May your feet find stability where the ground once shook. When you rise, may strength accompany you. When you rest, may angels encamp around you. When you speak, may heaven echo your words with authority. Let no fear follow you into the next season. Let no shadow linger near your light. What was warfare has become worship. What was waiting has become witness. And when people ask, how did you survive all that? You will smile and say, I didn't just survive, I was transformed. Go forth in peace. Walk in victory. Live as proof that God never wastes a single tear. For the battle has ended, the word has been fulfilled, and heaven declares once more, victory is yours.